Hello YouTube, it's the Stinky Caustic Main here to discuss a little something that I've really wanted since the beginning of Apex Legends Incarnation. And what I'm talking about here is a Star Wars crossover with the game. Ideally one that brings over many weapon skins, character cosmetics, and other cool shit from the Star Wars franchise. Today what I want to discuss is the logistics of this actually happening, as well as a few ideas I have for potential skins that they could add into the game. So everyone knows that EA owns the exclusive rights to creating Star Wars games and have made many over the few years that they've had the license. But what about crossovers? What can EA bring into their already existing IPs from the Star Wars franchise without breaking any Disney contracts? The answer is actually a lot more reassuring than you think, and a lot of the evidence stems from The Sims of all places. The Sims recently got a huge Star Wars themed update with a new Star Wars themed world, Star Wars themed outfits, and a bunch of other cool Star Wars things that I'm not too familiar with considering I don't play The Sims. But what's in The Sims isn't that important. What's important to us is what this crossover means for Apex Legends. If you can't tell where I'm going with this, I'm just gonna say it explicitly here. An Apex Legends and Star Wars crossover is almost 100% possible, and not only that, it's almost entirely up to EA. But I'm going to leave EA alone in this one, considering they've become a lot more consumer friendly in the past couple years after the whole Battlefront 2 debacle. And in the eyes of many PC gamers, it is now Epic Games that holds the throne of gaming nastiness, shady business practices, and other corporate mishappenings. But let's focus on Star Wars here. I might still be wrong, and Disney might still be the ones that decide what gets the Star Wars touch and what doesn't. Disney might not like the gameplay style of Apex Legends and might use this as an excuse to not let the two franchises mix. But this excuse is both busted and proven by a little game we like to call Fortnite. Disney not only broke their contract with EA when they decided to let Epic make this, but they also mixed the Star Wars franchise with a battle royale system of gameplay. This is one that is very similar to the one we play in Apex Legends, especially considering that Fortnite borrowed many mechanics from Apex Legends upon its release. But that's for an entirely different video to get into. When Disney exclusively gave Epic Games the right to put Star Wars skins and cosmetics into Fortnite, they also proved that they're not concerned with the purity of the license and they don't care about how the franchise is portrayed. And though this may sound like a bad thing, it's actually more of a good thing for us Apex Legends players who want an Apex crossover with Star Wars, as it proves that Disney isn't that limiting with the IP. Considering the fact that EA probably isn't stingy with what they do to make money, our only other chokehold here could be Respawn Studios themselves, and I have a few really good key examples and reasons right here. My first key reason is the fact that the people at Respawn are probably huge Star Wars fans, considering they were tasked with creating Jedi Fallen Order, a single-player Star Wars game that defied expectations in how good it was. My second piece of reasoning is the fact that Twitch Prime skins exist, which proves that Respawn Entertainment are not strangers to working with other brands. Also, let's not forget the fact that with the Steam release of Apex Legends, Respawn is adding 3 new charms based off Valve properties. And though Apex isn't dying, I think any game could use a crossover of this magnitude. If I was a higher up at any of these companies, I would definitely say yes to a Star Wars crossover, although you probably already know this considering I'm making a video about it. The next thing I want to discuss is why a crossover like this would even happen in the first place, or anytime soon for that matter. And though Star Wars doesn't have any big movie releases coming up soon, there is a ton of smaller stuff that might warrant something like this. I'm going to start with the most likely and then move down to the least. The most likely thing that would warrant an Apex Legends and Star Wars crossover is 100% Jedi Fallen Order 2. Not only does JFO share a developer with Apex Legends, but JFO 1's promotion was with Fortnite, and since that's no longer on top of the world, EA will probably stay on home turf for the second one, opting to instead promote their own service as opposed to promoting Epic Games with the first chance. The next most likely crossover catalyst is The Mandalorian Season 2. This one isn't number 1 because it doesn't hold all of JFO's strengths, but it's also releasing way too soon. This one has a lot of skin potential considering you could do Bloodhound as Din Djarin and Pathfinder as IG-88, but you already know there's going to be a Baby Yoda charm considering that has to go with everything Mandalorian related. This next one can't be happening unless it's a total surprise that Respawn has been keeping from us, which is highly unlikely considering they're bad at preventing leaks, but the next warrant for this crossover could be Star Wars Squadrons. However, the only thing they could possibly release for this game would have to be a TIE Fighter or X-Wing weapon charm, which would still be better than nothing in my opinion. If you haven't noticed, I've already started theorizing as to what kind of skins they could add for a Star Wars crossover, so this next segment is going to be me listing a bunch of possibilities for this update. Also, please don't forget that there's no real evidence as to this update happening, so everything I say here has no real merit and shouldn't be taken seriously at all. Any of these characters could be swapped around. However, we have no idea of a crossover like this even existing at all, so it's not like it really matters. Also, huge disclaimer so I don't get any backlash here. When I say a character should get a skin of another character, I am talking about the outfits. I am not talking about the person. So I do not want to see people complaining that I want a white skin for Lifeline, okay? My first idea would have to be Caustic as Dengar, and I know Dengar is really niche, but if you're trying to go for popularity points, my second option would have to be Chewbacca. This is because Caustic has a similar stature and size to him. He has brown hair, and his beard makes him look rather hairy, and I think it goes without saying that this is a famous quality of Chewbacca. As for Dengar's explanation, all I can really say is that I saw the death and bounty hunting correlation, and I can see their designs working well on top of each other, but apart from that, that's all I have. My next idea for an Apex Legends and Star Wars crossover would have to be Din Djarin as Bloodhound. Now, this is because both of them have a very distinct Viking-inspired culture, and they both do things that are almost always regulated by what their culture thinks and believes in. Both characters also end up defying what their culture believes in to pursue a higher goal. For example, Din Djarin ends up helping the Jedi, which are sworn enemies of Mandalorian, and Bloodhound ends up using guns to save his people from an enormous beast that almost ends up wiping out his culture. This next idea has got to be one of my favorites, and it's Revenant as General Grievous. This is because Revenant and General Grievous both have a very similar lanky robotic stature, and both have very iconic rivalries with other iconic characters within their respective franchises. My next skin idea isn't a character skin, however, it's an outfit commonly seen within the Star Wars franchise, and that's Wattson as a rebel pilot. I already think Wattson's default appearance kind of matches the shape and colors of a rebel pilot outfit. However, if they were to full on add a rebel pilot outfit skin for Wattson, I feel like they could do some really cool personal touches for it and make it look uniquely hers. However, I don't really care what they do with this outfit because either way, it's probably gonna look sick as Anyway, my next outfit idea is Captain Phasma as Bangalore. Now, I know a lot of people don't really like the sequels, and Captain Phasma more so because of how bad of a character she really was, but design and personality wise, she is almost a perfect fit for Bangalore. Both are very infatuated with the military that they represent, and both have an identity based around their militaristic talents. What do I really have to say about this next one? Han Solo as Mirage. Both are very cocky, headstrong, and very self-infatuated. They act like they were written by each other to represent each other, and other than maybe Lando Calrissian, I cannot think of a better pair than these two. This next one is a little less obvious, but it's definitely up there, and that would have to be Leia and Lifeline. Both Leia and Lifeline are very supportive characters to their teams, and both of them have the little hair things going on. I don't know what they're called, but they seem to match each other. Also, so no one gets the wrong idea, I'm going to say it again. I am not talking about the characters themselves, I am talking about the outfits, people. Don't get the wrong idea.
It is good there to be not dead.
Anyway, that was the end of my Apex Legends and Star Wars theory video. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button. If you have any skin ideas of your own, also hit that like button and comment that skin idea in the comments. That's what it's for. Also, if you haven't noticed, my sub count is extremely low. So if anyone were to make that from 71 to 72 today, I would feel the absolute best every single day of the week until the next video, and that single button press would make my entire week, so please do it if you're watching. If YouTube is not recommending this to anyone, hello YouTube, I am coming back next week, and there's nothing you can do to stop me unless I somehow lose my drive, which I doubt I will, especially considering that this is my only hobby right now. Anyway, goodbye. This was the Stinky Caustic Main, back with another video and logging off.